Something isn't working. You've never backed away from a fight. You've never said no to making a hard decision. And you're working just as hard as you ever have before. Despite all of it, the results have gotten cloudy over time. Change and decisions have become ambiguous. And your brain, it's spinning in loops. Your team isn't talking about it much, but you know there's something there. And despite all of your best efforts, you can't quite put your finger on what the issue is. In the 1950s, the aviation industry was exploding, and organizations like Pan Am were finding creative ways to streamline. Over the last several decades, seasoned pilots had made reports of strange situations in the air where they would run into pockets of resistance that was so strong that they would run out of fuel trying to get through it. That all changed in 1952 when Captain Logan Scott decided to take a different approach, and instead of face them head on, attempt to enter them, ride them, and take their natural course. He was successful, and he was able to take a flight from Tokyo all the way to Honolulu in just 11.5 hours over the previously required 18. Here's what's crazy. If you were sitting in that plane with him, the engines were running at their same normal speed, the fuel consumption was completely normal, and everything in the plane felt completely fine. But if you looked up at that plane from the ground, it looked like it was traveling almost twice as fast, because it was. It's a phenomenon known as the Jetstream. That's what we're looking to accomplish in our work and in protection of our families. Unfortunately, that's not how I set up my career. You see, the environment that I grew up in, because of cultural history, was make it or break it. If something was difficult, you just had to get over it. If something was lacking, you had to make up for it. And that grit, that determination, was the difference between life and death. And with it, I was able to attain results and break records in virtually every role that I had. Unfortunately, this was a horrible mindset to work inside of. That same grit that made those epic results possible actually blinded me to the big picture. Because you see, I was celebrating the grind. I was celebrating actually flying into the wind, and it was costing me everything. Unfortunately, it wasn't just me. It was costing my relationships as well. It took one too many times right on the edge of burnout for me to realize something was wrong, and I needed to do something differently. That's when I began to sit down with trusted mentors, read scores of books, get some therapy, and finally sit down with an executive coach. Through all of it, I did some deep work, and I realized that the issue wasn't my determination and effort. I had plenty of that. The issue was that I was not working from a place of my strength, and it's what I describe today as a jet stream. The process is simple. Step one, we target. We want to determine exactly where you're trying to go and what the cost is to get there. Step two, we assess. What are the tailwinds that you have? What are the headwinds that you have? And what does that look like for your team? We can then use that information to steer where we need to go. Then we change. This is the hardest part, but it's also the most fun. As we incorporate that information, we're able to then steer into that jet stream, cross through it and into it, and begin to see some real results in the areas where you've been struggling. Finally, we sustain. You didn't get into the jet stream by accident. So we're going to make intentional choices and put pre-decision decisions in place to make sure you stay there, not only in process, but in team culture. In the end, we find the gaps, we determine the blind spots, and we turn both of them into leverage to go where you're actually meaning to go. You don't have to live life at 120% throttle anymore. It's time to turn your grind into a climb. If any of this story is resonating with you, we should have a conversation. Let's go.